a judgment where they're taking that money directly out of somebody's paycheck, and that is 25% of that somebody's paycheck, how does that affect your rent? If they're taking 25% of your paycheck, that's a big issue. And they take 25% of your paycheck until that judgment or that lien is paid off. Okay? And generally what we've seen is that is a chain reaction. Once that judgment has started been taken out, well, guess what? Your collections will go get a judgment on you, and then they take it out. So it kind of follows one after another. So generally when they have a history of bad behavior, that's kind of concerning.
So discharge doesn't mean that it's totally gone away. See, that's how I've always...
Discharge means that it has gone away, the debt has all been released in a Chapter 7. In a Chapter 13, it means the debt has been reorganized and they still have to pay it back.
So they're still paying it back. So how do you know that they've satisfied everything?
When it is released.
Yeah. So it will say release versus discharge.
When it's a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, when it is discharged, that means that the bankruptcy is final and all the debt has basically been washed away. It's a clean break. When it's a Chapter 13, they still have to pay that money back.
Okay, so we have to look at whether it's 7 or 13.
Exactly.
So discharge 7 is okay.
Yes.
Discharge 13 is not.
They still have to pay that money back. So you might want to ask them, what is the status of your Chapter 13 bankruptcy? Where are you in your repayment plan? Okay. Then we come down to the personal information comparison. One of the best parts about Western Reporting, if you're using us, is that Western Reporting is already looking at this section for you. We're comparing it and saying, okay, you know, Hank Mess has an AKA or another name. You know, we're going to give you a heads up. Anytime that an applicant has more than one name, criminal history is pulled by name and verified by date of birth. So for example, I've been married before, so I have my maiden name, my married name, and now my new married name. So I have all three names that I could have criminal history under. So in my report, you guys would be looking at it and saying, applicant has AKA. You may want to run an AKA search. So, you know, those are things to be aware of. So we're going to tell you that in your actual report, okay?
Beyond just a marriage for a woman.
Yes.
Because a woman's going to have, it's married.
Even if you have an applicant with a nickname, so for example, William, who goes by Bill, you can have an AKA situation there. So you can have criminal history both under William and Bill.
Or.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it's how much? Is it $5 extra to do the AKA?
Yes, that's correct. $5. Yep.
So you should just always do that.
I highly recommend it. However, if you have a clean applicant, no criminal history with an 800 credit score, you know, you may not need to. If you have an applicant who has criminal history, you know, you may want to run that additional AKA to see what else is there. So it's all on a case-by-case basis, but it is always good practice as a standard, as part of your rental criteria, to set yourself up and decide what you're going to do at the outset. You can't say, okay, on this applicant I'm going to do this, and then on this applicant I'm going to do this, and this applicant I'm going to do this. You should really set yourself a business practice up front.
A high credit score does not always mean they're good, because that's what happened to me with that woman that gave me that check. She had no funds in her check, wrote the check out on a closed account, and insisted that the money was there.
Exactly. So
And
it's
she was in the 800s.
Exactly. So it's all about risk management and how you want to do it. But the most important part is really setting yourself a written criteria from your experience as landlords. I mean, you guys really know the business better than anyone here. You guys are the ones doing this on a daily basis. So we're here to help you with that. But when there's a question, trust your gut. Go with what your gut says. You know? So, and then, you know, when you have an individual question about a report, call us up. You know, use that resource to your advantage. So keep on going down to prior inquiries, which is number 16. That's just kind of telling you, hey, who else has looked at his credit report? That's all that's telling you. The only thing that you're really looking for here a short period of time. So for example, my first spouse, went through and opened 6 credit cards within a week. That would have been nice to know. Okay, so you can look at that using the prior inquiries and looking at the dates on that. So if you can see if somebody's opening a Discover card, a MasterCard, an Amex, and a Visa, within a week, that might say that they're having some cash flow problems. So that might be a good thing to look at in the prior inquiries, but that's pretty much all you're looking for there.
On that one, like if a bank or casino is hiring somebody, don't they do a credit check, but not for the purpose of extending credit?
Yes,
How does that show up there, or does it show up at all?
it does.
It
That's
would?
correct. Yes.
And is that how, so if Western Reporting had run Hank Mess's thing, would that show up there?
It does. Yep.
And is there some way I can tell whether it's for credit or not for credit?
You know, you really can't, but like I said, the thing to be concerned about is when there's multiple inquiries from the same type of business in a short period of time. And it's really all about consumer debt. So not necessarily from a car loan, not necessarily from a mortgage type company, but really from,
But if they got turned down at the last apartment that the guy researched for you, and so if there's 3 or 4
Exactly.
Western Reporting ones in a row,
you would might be a little bit
all in
concerned.
the same week, I just know they're not getting in anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So those are more the type of things to be concerned with. Credit summary and financial summary, really easy, guys. It's just another way to look at the information above. That's all this is. And the one thing that I really like to do is look at the current satisfactory and the current delinquent in credit summary. If there's a huge disparity between the number of current satisfactory, current delinquent, and collections and charge-offs here, I might be a little bit concerned. So in other words, if you've got, 1 current satisfactory account and 10 unsatisfactory accounts and 10 collections, then that could be a problem. So just really common sense stuff. Financial summary down at the very bottom, and thanks for holding on through this whole thing, guys. You guys have done great. And the 2 things I really use this for is rent to income ratio, guys. How many of you use a 3-to-1 income ratio? Quite a few of you, right? So I'm looking at the payment section of this. So let's say that my rent is $1,000 and my guy makes $3,000 a month. Let's just say that, or $4,000 a month. Well, let's look at Hank Mess. Well, under his total amounts of payments, $2,027 is what is already committed a month in payments. So according to some of your ratios, do you guys think that he has enough money to pay my $1,000 of rent? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to get thrown out of his apartment, he'll not pay the visa.
There you go. So, but that is kind of a way to help you guys look at that income to debt ratio and just say, okay, if he has $2,027 there, what is he not going to pay my rent? Or what is he not going to pay? Is he not going to pay his car payment? Is he not going to pay his utilities? What areas is he not going to pay? So it's just kind of another way to look at that income to debt ratio. So it's a little bit different than some of the traditional methods, but it's a little bit interesting there. So kind of a brief note about criminal history. When you guys are looking at criminal history, you know that there's a lot of different kinds of charges out there. One of the things that we recommend, very similar to what the Utah Apartment Association recommends, is that in your rental criteria, set it up so that any crimes against people, persons, or property, same thing, I guess, those are things that we would recommend that you don't rent to, or that you would not have a problem with. And the most important thing, guys, if you guys are going to turn down someone based at all, in part, because of your consumer report or your credit or criminal report, you need to give them a denial letter. This is very important. You have to do that as part of the Federal Credit Reporting Act. This is very, very important. Those are available on our website. If you don't already know how to use them, call us, we'll show you how to do it. Okay? So very, very easy to use, but you have to give them a denial letter. Okay?
For credit, but not for criminal.
Anytime you use a consumer report, so any part of the consumer report, credit or criminal,
Either one. Okay.
and that doesn't matter if you're using us or anyone else, if you deny them because of a consumer report, you have to give them a denial letter.
Where did you say we could get the letter?
You can get it online on our website, and if you do not use our service, I believe the Utah Apartment Association also has a denial letter as well.
What if I don't write, give them a letter?
You
What happens?
would be in breach of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Basically, any breach, you can be fined up to $2,500 per instance. It is important that you give them their denial letter within 5 days.
Do I need to give this person a denial letter because she had no funds in the bank account? She did have an excellent credit report.
No, you rented to her. You didn't deny her rent. You let her move in.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I thought
But
you said you did.
Heck, no money, no money.
You didn't deny her because of the report. You
I
denied her
denied her
check
because she
bounced.
had
Yeah,
no
right.
funds in the
Check
checking
bounced.
She
account.
didn't pay
It has nothing to do
no.
with the report, your check
So
bounced.
I'm good then.
Yeah.
I don't have to give
You
her.
might want to check with your attorney on that, but my recommendation, and you might want to speak to this as well, but my understanding is that anytime you deny an applicant and you have pulled a consumer report, if you've pulled a background check whatsoever, my recommendation would be to give them a denial letter.
Okay,
Just
that's easy.
Just because it keeps you on the far side of the law, keeps you compliant, and that's really the most important thing. Now, just so you guys know the process on what your applicant can do once they have received a denial letter, is they can go back to the consumer reporting agency, whoever that is, whether it's Western Reporting or some other service, with a copy of their denial letter and a picture ID, and get a copy of their report. So that basically shows them, hey, we can get this. It's also very important for you to know that if you're going to talk to your applicant about things that are on their credit report, it is important that they have a copy in front of them first. So if you want to print off a consumer copy so that you are able to talk to them about that, those are also available on our website as well.
I thought we couldn't.
I thought we couldn't too.
I was told we're not a credit reporting agency, so we just refer them to you for a copy.
That's what we recommend. But if you have a situation where you do need to talk to an applicant about their credit report, they do need to have a copy in front of them.
So
But you
is
don't
it
give it to them,
different?
right?
It's different than
We don't
ours?
give it
It's
to them.
different
It
than
is
ours.
different than ours. Theirs actually has basically the FCRA rights, what their rights are under the law, and that is available on our website. So again, you can call us, we'll show you how to use it.
So maybe we
there's
should
not
let
extra
them go
charge.
get it, not
They
us.
can't get it. You
Oh,
would
they
have to
can't?
get it for them. Okay?
So I can get it, because people have asked me and I just say I'm not a
Yes.
credit reporting
If you
agency.
deny them, don't get it. Just send them to us.
Okay.
If you want to talk to them about something on their credit report because you are moving them into your unit, you can print that out for them and hand it to them and talk to them about their credit report. Does that make sense?
So say you rented to somebody and they asked for a copy of their credit report, do we
You
just
can
say?
print off a consumer copy and give it to them off of the website, and we can show you how to use that.
Their new system should take care of some of these problems.
Yes, it will. So, but, you can do that, but call us, we'll show you how to use it. Any other questions about credit or criminal reports, anything at all?
I have a tenant, 7 years, never been late. How do I report that to the credit? So when they go to buy a house, they have a good credit score that they build up with me? I mean,
That's a great question. We're actually in talks with a company that helps people do that. I don't know how those talks are gonna end up, but as soon as they do, we'll let the Utah Apartment Association know and we'll proceed from there.
So right now you can't.
Right now we can't. There's only one company out there who actually just recently started doing this within the last year. So it's a new thing. It has not been done before. So right now that's the only company we're aware of that actually does this.
Who's
Is
that?
the answer. Huh?
Who is, what's
I
that?
can get the name for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Well, thanks for sticking through this, guys. I know it's